Hello!
Hello.
We finally start.
We are here.
Yes. All right. Hi, Kimmy! Hello! Let me take this off for a second. Boop.
Boop.
Yeah. Been a long day. Long day of painting. Had a couple cancellations. But I've been here since like 10 a.m. Hello.
Hello. Oh, wow.
So, yeah. I've been here since 10 a.m. No label this time. Easier for editing for later. Yeah, I'm in a comfy chair now. Comfy chair! So, we're 1 minute in. We're going to go for 3 minutes before we start doing all the talking. And we have it all written down today. Ooh. All mapped out. This is the first time we're doing it mapped out for real.
Yeah, you got to the nitty gritty on this one.
Yeah.
We got
So
a lot.
for those of you who don't know, yeah, we had a good sit down. We went over a lot of things to improve this. One of which is writing all of the things down and seeing where we're going to lead into first and foremost. So, spoiler alert, I have not finished Moon Knight. So, but I know what's going on. So, we're good.
What's the last episode you saw?
4.
Okay, last one I saw was 5. Okay.
You know? And we did say that we were going to do a possible small impromptu thing for the finale anyway, after tonight. So I'm just like, you know what, let me just watch it all together. I'm going to watch it with my family on Friday, which is my day off, and go over everything on Friday, take notes while I watch it and whatnot, and go from there. So, and then you and I can trade notes and see and go over everything. So, all right, it's 9:03. Let's get into it. So, a lot of new movie announcements.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of them. Anybody who knows me, you know this for a fact because you've been in my station a lot, knows I love kaijus. And one of the biggest announcements they made was Kong 2, Son of Kong. So, I'm stoked because they're also going to do the next Day of the Monsters. Well, they mentioned they were going to try and do that. You know, with all the crazy movie flip-flop things that are going on right now between studios. But Kong, Son of Kong 2, Kong 2, Son of Kong is announced. Avatar is on its way. Avatar 2. What is it, Way of the Water?
That sounds right. That sounds right.
That's also exciting. James Cameron's about to come back and be like, hey, you guys remember me? Who's your daddy? What does he do? So, you and I traded notes on the next one, which is Guardians of the Galaxy. The set photos leaked.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool thing about that, and you and I talked about this, was comic accurate costumes. So
we've been seeing it a lot lately too.
Luckily, I mean, it's taken decades for it to really happen. Over 20 years now, because I'm going all the way back to the X-Men movies, and prior to that, obviously. But there was licensing issues and all that other stuff, like with the first Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, and the god awful Captain America movies from the 90s. Then the Fantastic Four movie that never really got released, but got released. So, but no, yeah, comic accurate costumes. We saw in Love and Thunder, the trailer with the Mighty Thor, and also Thor Odinson, which is the nice gold, hyper blue, beautiful costume he's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
So, any costumes you're looking forward to seeing? We did Spider-Man, supposedly. I saw that still.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all.
I mean the Spider-Man costume we saw at the end of No Way Home, I
Mm-hmm.
really like that one. I liked. I want to see how they revamp the Scarlet Witch for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Because now that they've given her costume at the end of WandaVision, I want to see if they expand on that any. Um, and I think those are like the top two probably.
Yeah, I mean, Wanda's costume in WandaVision, the end, where she became the Scarlet Witch. Oof, that was so good. And there was hints of like Magneto and like in Days of Futures Past and stuff like that. So I was like, woo, Apocalypse, woo, so
Hmm.
good, so good. So that's gonna be interesting. I'm actually really excited to see the new Guardians movie. Really excited for the new Thor. I'm pretty much excited for the entire Marvel slate. That being said, DC's changing up their slate because now Discovery Channel owns DC and Warner Brothers Productions. So they've been making light of that, and they've been making light of how they're going to change things up and make it more accessible to all the characters, and make it really flourish, which I'm excited for.
Hmm.
Um, Another new Ghostbusters movie. I don't know about you, but I was a huge Ghostbusters fan growing up. I loved the real Ghostbusters. I loved all the everything that came out. I don't know if you're
Yeah,
a big
yeah. Hard not to be a fan of the originals.
yeah yeah that new movie. It was an all female team. I mean, it was entertaining. It was entertaining, but it wasn't really Ghostbusters for me. Especially with the proton beam, where it's like a whip. That didn't make sense to me. You ever
I
seen that?
not even see it to be honest with you.
No,
Mm-mm.
didn't miss out too much. Chris Hemsworth was funny. I mean, the cast was pretty funny. It was just the movie wasn't great. Could have been better. Um, I'm a big John Wick fan, so they just announced John Wick 4. They're actually going to be finally moving on with it, moving forward with it, and start filming and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see where it's finally going. Um, this might be the last John Wick movie, from what I'm hearing, but they're going to do a spin off show and a bunch of spin off universe stuff. So I'm excited for that. Um,
Yeah, they're supposed to do like a spin-off with the hotel, right?
yeah, yeah, the Continental.
Yes, there we go.
So Serene McCain he's Vincent, I believe that's his name, and that whole dynamic between John Wick and him, mentor, um, and pretty much friend, confidant, all that stuff, and the entire Continental being its own thing as well, like being its own entity and its own like character. I mean, did you see part three?
Nah, I have to see part three. I'm definitely gonna see it soon though.
Part three is so good. That's one of those franchises that the movies get better and better and better and better, especially in
I
the
was about to say, yeah, I was about to say because the second one was so good. Second one was really good. Like the first one set
yeah.
the bar, and then the second one was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. The second one really went up in like fight scene choreography, everything. I mean, the first one's still one of my favorite movies, but the whole franchise as a whole is just amazing. I think part two and three just step it up to a new level. It always just keeps pushing the level and the boundaries of what they can do, especially with all the kills and the violence. It's awesome. Um, the next one up on the slate is Borderlands the movie.
Yeah.
So I played Borderlands. My buddy Leif, which is also at the shop, he plays Borderlands. TK, which also works here as well, he's my other buddy as well. He plays Borderlands as well. Mo, which is Leif's wife, she plays Borderlands. So like Borderlands is like a kind of a staple around here, and I'm not gonna lie to you, we're all very nervous, very nervous about this movie. But the first bit of footage apparently is really cool, really good. And so I don't know, man. Let's see where it goes. I know that you haven't really played Borderlands, correct?
Yeah, but I understand your hesitation because whenever video game movies come out, they there is no middle ground. You're either here or you're there. You know, you're either Sonic, which is doing really well, or you're a Street Fighter, and you're a cult. You're you
All
know.
Street Fighter movies. Oh, even I hate to admit it, like So growing up, I loved the Jean-Claude Van Damme Raul Julia movie, the original Street Fighter movie. It was cool. It was great when I was growing up, along with the Mortal Kombat movie. Mortal Kombat was more of my thing growing up. As I grew up, it was more about Street Fighter and like playing the Street Fighter games and being more about that fight game community. But yeah, man, they've not put out a good Street Fighter movie. And going back to the comic book stuff, I mean to the video game stuff, they really don't have any of that many good video game movies either. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, Resident Evil's garbage by
Yeah,
standards.
yeah.
You know, the new one. Um, the original Resident Evil franchise was entertaining, yeah, but it wasn't Resident Evil. It was just a zombie movie franchise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so and they didn't introduce I think Leon to like the sixth movie or the fifth movie, which bro, Leon's the main character. So is Chris. So is Claire. I mean, Claire was introduced in the third, I believe, but like everything about that whole franchise was kind of like whatever, you know. So now the next one up is something you know about and I don't, which is Hunger Games.
Yes. So you said it's a prequel. So we're gonna see basically how the districts come to be, I'm assuming. And I'm really excited. I didn't read the books, but I saw the movies, and the movies I think are fantastic. And I'm really interested to see because I believe there's one of the districts, I can't remember which one, but there's one of the districts that basically doesn't exist anymore. It got taken off the face of the earth because they kind of, I guess, rebelled or they weren't falling in line. So I think there's like 12 districts and one of them is like no more. So I'm pretty sure we're going to be able to see how that happens. And we're going to see probably how the Hunger Games even comes to be. Like, how did we get to this point? So I'm excited for that. I'm really excited for that.
I mean, like I said, it's one of those movie franchises I never really got to see, or even like sit through like anything. I just know that Jennifer Lawrence was part of it, and that's about it. Like that's well, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I think that was one of his last movies as well. So, and if anybody knows who Philip Seymour Hoffman is, he's a amazing actor. Well, no longer here, but amazing actor nonetheless. Um, so next one up, we're going right back into comics. Venom 3 got greenlit?
I guess, like,
Yeah. I mean, all we know is that it's greenlit for the next movie. It's going to be its own thing again. Like, we don't know who the bad guy is. We don't know what the Venom story is. I didn't see Venom 2. I wanted to see it because of Woody Harrelson and all that stuff, but I didn't see it. I heard it was really bad. I heard it was entertaining, but not great, but really, really bad on the same level. So, speaking of sequels, though, Batman 2, or The Batman 2,
yes.
just as well. So, we were going to put a poll up. We had a very busy week, both of us. You with a lot of studies and all that stuff going on, and me with a lot of work. But the poll was, which Batman villain do you want to see on the big screen? Or see repeat another appearance through a different franchise?
Mm-hmm.
So, what do you want to see?
Well, me and you have talked about it. I've been saying it. I want to see Court of Owls. I think the Court of Owls, because they already painted Gotham as kind of its own character. Like, you felt the presence of Gotham throughout the movie. So having already established that, and having already established basically sullying the Wayne name, I think Court of Owls just makes so much sense. You already have them, you know, doing the dirty deeds, and Court of Owls is the supreme, basically, underlords of Gotham, the unspoken kind of myth of Gotham.
Yep.
So I think if you add that, and like we talked about last episode, how in this Batman we saw his intellect and his mental get pushed to the limit with the Riddler. So I think if you pushed him to physical limits, and we did mention Bane, but I think even with like the talent and the Court of Owls, I think
Yep.
you would see that as well.
Yeah. I mean, you know how Talon comes to be, which is pretty much immortal. Takes a beating. There's somebody to replace him as another Talon, essentially. But they always get pushed. They always get pushed to the limit as Talon, and you can pretty much not. You have to obliterate Talon to destroy him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to make him just nothing. And I think you can really push that limit, especially with the whole situation with the adrenaline shot that he took, which is like Venom. I think it's gonna be Venom. I think it's gonna be Bane. And that's a good place to even start at. Like if you do, perfect example, quarter vowels, right? You know the Spitfire thing I like to do.
Mm-hmm.
Quarter vowels. How does Talon stay so strong? How does he become Talon? How does he keep on pushing through everything and being like as strong as he is? Venom. Why not? You know? And then boom, we got Bane for the next one. And that would have completed the trilogy. And then you have Nightfall. And then you have Robert Pattinson choosing to reprise the role on Batman 4, if there was ever to be a Batman 4. And boom, or continue it through the Arkham series.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So, we got Wild Ink Studios, which is Kenny. Kenny in the house.
What up?
Kenny is he's one of my best friends. He's also a comic book artist. But on top of that, he's been doing a lot of Marvel stuff for the trading cards. And he has a book out too. So Kenny, drop the name of the book so I remember it really quick. And I can go ahead and give a shout out. You can pick it up on Amazon. You can pick it up on different comic book stores. No, I'm not saying that, Kenny. You read it. But yeah, he has a bunch of stuff that's coming out every 3 months, I believe. He puts out a new set of Marvel Artist Select cards through Fleer. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So yeah, Kenny, drop the name of the book. I'll go ahead and announce it in a minute. And if you want to join in on this Batman conversation, you can. But yeah, no, I think that would be a good transition. We get Talon. Say what? So we can take. I don't know. Oh, it's Upper Deck. It's not Fleer. I'm sorry. Anyways, so yeah, no, we can get Talon in there, and then we can just jump from Talon into Bane. Bane breaking his back, going through the Nightfall series, and then boom. Although we already got that with Christopher Nolan's trilogy, just not a great Bane.
Yeah.
So.
And nothing against Tom Hardy. He did, he's phenomenal, but not the true Bane that we want to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. It wasn't the true Bane. That voice too. I was wondering what it works. That just did not go well. I mean, it's just really bad. It's funny because when I have my mask on, that's exactly how I sound. I sound like Bane. So, okay, so really big news. I mean, it's a really big day, regardless, for any Star Wars fan out there. Today is May the 4th, and you liked Hardy's Bane. Today's May the 4th, and in true Star Wars fashion, we have to drop something today. And the conversation was the press asked Hayden Christensen if James Earl Jones was going to go ahead and voice Vader. Nobody knows yet. So, what do you think?
Well, James Earl, for all intents and purposes, is Vader. He just is, and it's iconic. And when you hear it, you know. So, if they use him, it's gonna be like a walk in the park. It's gonna be a no-brainer, I think. But I will say, if you're bringing back Hayden Christensen, and they've made a big deal about it. Now, I know that we're probably going to get flashbacks of him and Obi-Wan. But if you decide to go the route to use Hayden Christensen, I'm on board. I'm on board for that.
Yeah, I mean, he could be the voice of Vader. It's fine. He could be manipulated to different voice transitioning apparatuses and whatnot. So it's not a big deal. Did you see the trailer today that dropped?
Yes, I did.
Oof, that trailer looked really, really good. The fact that we get to see the first look at Vader's suit with his center module for his chest, that looks really cool, man. It looks really cool. We get to see the Inquisitors as well, which, if you don't know who they are a group of Jedi hunters. Like, that's what they do. They kill Jedis because they are Sith, essentially. But that's like a very oversimplified version of what it really is. I mean, we don't have enough time on the podcast to talk about what the Inquisitors are, or really about all the Star Wars universe stuff that we can go into through the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. So I'll just leave it at that. It looks really, really cool. Looks really, really fun. And it seems like they might meet again instead of it just being a flashback scenario. Because there's that one point where Obi-Wan's looking into the screen, or rather, he's looking at us as the audience, and it looks like he's looking at Vader.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's gonna be pretty cool. And also, Vader, I think, is hunting him throughout the series, which would make sense.
Yeah, that's what this trailer showed. So the Inquisitors specifically hunting Kenobi and trying to draw him out because Vader wants him, and obviously we know why. And they also confirmed that we are going to get them in a showdown. So it's going to be interesting because now you have that part where it changes canon a little bit, because in A New Hope, when Vader's like, I haven't sensed this since, you're thinking, oh, Mustafar. But now, if they're going to show down in here, now you know that, okay, he hasn't sensed it since this point in time.
And Mustafar does not. I mean, it's canon, but it's no longer the last point in which they met.
Right.
So let's see where they meet this time. I think it's gonna be Tatooine. I think it's gonna be a showdown for Luke. I think Vader feels that he's out there. You know, I think Vader's gonna sense that there is a disturbance and that his son is still out there, that he wants to reconnect and he wants to take him so he can become a Sith. That's just my theory. I think Obi-Wan's going to be the protector. Because there was a conversation between Obi-Wan and I forgot the name of the councilman which took Luke. But there was a conversation with them in Tatooine where he's like, well, when he's of age, it's time to train him. And he's like, no. So...
Oh, yeah, it's Uncle Owen.
Yeah. So, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that part cut deep because he's like, the boy has to be trained. And he's like, oh, you mean like you trained his father?
His father? Ooh. Ooh. That was a dark, real hit to the kidneys, man.
And then, like, for like a couple seconds, you just see the look on Obi-Wan's face. That's like, yeah, like he just looked dead behind the eyes.
Well, the Jedi is supposed to not feel emotions. That's the whole thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when you make a Jedi flinch?
Essentially, yeah.
So that was a rough one to hear, but good one nonetheless. I'm really excited for the show, and we're gonna see it 2 weeks from now, I think it is.
It's May 27th.
May 27th.
And they're dropping episodes 1 and 2.
Two together. Yep.
Yep.
Very much like what they did with WandaVision. I think Disney and Marvel have this tactic that the first 2 episodes are always going to be like, me, okay. But they just drop it there so you get a lot. And that way you don't have to wait far for it to really start ramping up and building up. So, unless this is like a beast show from the rip, I don't know. Let's see what happens.
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Now, real big talk. In 2 days, well, actually, it's already happening now. It's premiering now. The Multiverse of Madness. Ooh. Okay, so, realistically speaking, I've been wanting to see Sam Raimi direct another comic book movie, and since Spider-Man, and he's back in the horror genre. And all the reviews have said it, and it's been in our stories. This is the first official Marvel horror movie.
Yes.
So let's see, man. Like, it's exciting. Sam Raimi, creator of The Evil Dead, Army of Darkness, which is the same franchise but different names because of licensing purposes. Drag Me to Hell. Ash vs. the Evil Dead, which is part of that same franchise as well. He's been part of several horror movies throughout the 80s, 90s. He's helped direct, co-produce all different types of the horror genre movies. And now he has a crack at the MCU. And there's a lot going on. You and I spoke the day that we had the meeting. You and I spoke about a little spoiler, but we're going to get a little bit into that later on. And I don't know how much legitimacy there is in a lot of this, what we're about to talk about, with speculation of who's going to be in, who's not going to be in, what's going on. But it looks like what we saw as a spoiler is true. Now, to save everybody any bullshit that might come up in the conversation, we're not going to tell you what we saw. We're not going to allude to it. You can pick up context clues if you want through the conversation, but we're not going to say what it is. And we won't tell you. We won't say if it's true or not true the minute you ask us either. So,
can neither confirm nor deny.
Exactly. We plead the fifth. But we will say this. It was cool. It looked legit. And judging by the news that we're about to say throughout this conversation from this point forward, there might be legitimacy to what we saw. So, let's start with Sir Patrick Stewart coming back as Professor Xavier, bro. What?
In the chair. In the
iconic yellow chair.
In the iconic.
Oh, man, bro.
Chair.
So, being the Multiverse of Madness, that means that this could be either a variant or the Professor X from the X-Men 97 cartoon, which would make the whole reasoning behind bringing back the cartoon a legitimate reason to tie in to the MCU and make it canon. So, thoughts. Give me your thoughts. Shoot.
Dude, I mean, when we first heard his voice, it was like, what? And then the chair just solidified it. Because I just, like we said, we're getting more comic book accurate stuff. And we're getting more stuff pulled from other IPs and other shows and things like that. So it's great that we're seeing that. And I think that we're going to see it a lot more going forward, especially because now the fact that you can use a variant for just about every and anything really just, you can connect everything now. Anything Marvel that has ever been made or established can now be connected because why? You can say, oh, that's a variant from that multiverse.
Yep. And now here's the other question. The biggest question of all. Why is the multiverse happening? I mean, let's rephrase that because we kind of know why the multiverse is happening. And it was revealed in the WandaVision series. She cracked the fabric of time, space-time continuum. She created a Nexus event, which was then explained in Loki, and how many Nexus events happen on a daily.
Mm-hmm.
So, could Wanda, starting her own world, have created the massive Nexus event? Because if I remember correctly, there was 1,001 universes in Endgame. Not Endgame, I'm sorry, Avengers. Oh, wow, I'm blanking out.
Infinity War?
Infinity War. I can't believe I blanked out that bad. Whereas in Doctor Strange said there's 100,001 universes, but there's only one way that the outcome works out for us, which was the snap. Tony Stark.
Mm-hmm.
So, this opens up the whole doorway. It actually blows those doors off the hinges since Loki. since WandaVision, because WandaVision and Loki both happened at the same time. When she became the Scarlet Witch officially, it created a massive Nexus event, opening up hundreds and thousands of different worlds. Now, going back to Infinity War, Doctor Strange saw those events, but that wasn't at the same time Wanda. So was he seeing into the future? Because that technically didn't work in that time frame.
Mm-hmm.
And then Loki, the directors of Loki just said, and the writers of Loki just said, we kind of messed up because we opened that door way too much, and we should have kept it more controlled.
Yeah.
That was an article I just read this morning, which I think I sent to you. And they were just talking about, like, well, we kind of, like, wrote ourselves into a void where there's a bunch of loopholes and a lot of unanswered questions that are probably never going to get answered, you know? So, it kind of, I think it all leads back to Infinity War with Doctor Strange saying what he said. Then those writers probably taking that information and running with it.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's interesting because we know in the comics Wanda she's a Nexus being.
Yeah.
So, and for anybody who doesn't know, Nexus being is she's the same person across all multiverses. She is Scarlet Witch. She is Wanda. So her creating a Nexus event is kind of, I guess, their way of like saying she's a Nexus being. Her creating that event.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And like how you said, it goes basically hand in hand with Loki. So, and then now we have the Darkhold. Darkhold's in the mix. So who knows what we're going to see from that or with that, and what Sam Raimi's going to do with that. So, I mean, anything goes at this point. You have multiverse, you have variant, anything goes.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's crazy. Like, it's no hold bar right now. And then, judging by what the reviews are saying about Doctor Strange, it's everywhere. It's all over the place. We're going to love it as fans, but it's going to be everywhere. Everywhere. We're going to visit, like, I don't know how many universes. We're going to see how many different variants of who and what and whatever, you know? Which, with that statement, I'm going to bring it right back to the list of the things we're supposed to be talking about, which is Professor X, X-Men 97, a canon, or at least a variant of that Professor X. Which, hey man, you know what? Technically speaking, he could also be an Nexus being. You know what I mean? In the movie universe.
Mm-hmm.
Because Professor X in the movie, remember, he switched out different bodies.
He did.
From the X3. And then you have him doing the same thing in the animated series. Why not? You know?
That makes a whole lot of sense.
Then that opens up a possibility for Wanda to go ahead. Mind you, I have not seen the movie. I did not read any of the spoilers. Quote me if this happens in the movie theater. But what if he is the original Nexus being that brought everybody together? Because he seems like he's the head of the Illuminati, right? What if he's the head and he knows how this whole thing pans out? Because he is the Nexus being. And then Wanda's mad at him because she can't get her way and he won't really guide her. You know, that's just me spitballing. But let's see what happens, you know what I mean? There's a lot that can happen right now.
I mean, also, Mephisto, maybe? Like, is this the point in time where we get Mephisto? I mean, we're getting the horror element, and we know, I mean, everybody was waiting for the WandaVision because we saw her with her kids, and anybody who's, you know, read the comic, her kids basically are an essence, if I'm not mistaken, of Mephisto that then get absorbed back into him.
Yep.
So, and I think we saw her kids in one of the trailers, and we see her have the Darkhold. So we know that there's gonna play some part in it. So Mephisto, maybe. I mean, we'll see.
Maybe. Well, we're definitely gonna see Nightmare. That's for sure.
Yes.
So, and then Baron Mordo, or Mordo Supreme to be exact. Because that's another thing that happened. Mordo did not die during the snap. Or rather, he didn't disappear during the snap.
Yeah, no.
He had 5 years to become Sorcerer Supreme in whatever universe he lived in. Because remember, in Infinity War, it was said very clearly, Thanos has done this across all universes. All of them.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. But going back to character lists and what possibilities there are. So, if any of you have done any research at all, and not for spoiler purposes, but just, heard casting calls or casting whatever, you know that, or even saw the trailer, for that matter, you know that Captain Carter is back.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you that have not seen What If, Captain Carter was the first episode of the What If series, correct? And she is the Captain Britain variant. Variant could be split between Captain Britain and Captain America. So that's what she is. She's pretty much a mixture of both.
Yeah. And then you get Captain Carter.
Yeah. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with that. She's definitely in the trailer. So that's gonna be
for sure. Yeah.
There was that little fight scene between her and Scarlet Witch. So let's see.
Get right on the shield.
Mm-hmm. Now, you and I talked about it during the meeting last time, which was Black Bolt. The actor that played Black Bolt has returned, and he's going to be in the movie. So, let's see what happens. Unfortunately, hold on, give me 1 second. Boop.
What else we got?
There we go. So Black Bolt. Black Bolt is back in the series. He's back in the fold. And it looks like he's going to play a different variant again, because we did have him during the series, the Inhuman series, that came out in, 2018, 17, 18, 19? Around that time frame?
Yeah, around 18, 19.
18, which wasn't great, but him returning back, the actor coming back and being Black Bolt again means he could be a variant, or he could be that character. And let's see what happens. I mean, if anybody doesn't know who Black Bolt is, he is Inhuman. He's the leader of the Inhumans. His special power is, if he whispers a word, he can blow canyons clear through. He can destroy mountains. If he screams, which is something that happened, he can blow up the moon. So,
I'm so excited.
It's a very powerful character. A very powerful character.
And that's what I like. I like to see how Marvel balances these high-powered characters. And, I mean, it's to the point where this dude has to, train himself so that he doesn't even, snore or whisper in his sleep or anything like that. He is so trained to the core. And they even said in the Inhuman series that they were going to stay true to the character. He's not going to talk. So, I mean, if we see more of that, then it's gonna be great. We're in for a good time.
Most definitely, I'm excited to see what happens, man. Okay, so I'm not going to mention the spoiler, but I'm going to mention something that has to do with the spoiler. There's a sequence of things, or the sequence of characters that were announced and also shown, but I can't speak of them. But I will say this. This is going to lead into where this can have some legitimacy, which I'm not going to talk about here. But John Watts stepped down from directing the next set of Spider-Man movies. Correct? So, not Spider-Man, sorry, so Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
And he announced 2 days or 3 days later that he was going to go ahead and join the Spider-Man franchise again, doing a new trilogy with Tom Holland, Zendaya, and the gentleman that plays Ned. But there was no conversation because it was all amicable between him and Marvel and all that stuff and Sony. But now they're saying that John Krasinski, it was like 24 hours later after he made that announcement, John Krasinski is going to take over Fantastic Four directing. If you know anything about John Krasinski, if he directs, he's probably in the movie. And who has been eyeballed as Reed Richards for the last almost decade? John Krasinski. Which,
Boom.
and ironically enough, for Captain America. And he didn't get the role. So, well, let's see. I mean, I can't say what I saw. We can't talk about what we saw. Period. But if it is true, we might have Mr. Fantastic in the fold. And it might be John Krasinski.
I would love to see, if that is the case, who else we would see as the Fantastic Four. Because I believe his wife, Emily Blunt, said she wouldn't want to do it. So that kind of takes
Oh, no.
that.
He just recently said she wants to do it.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
she changed her mind. Well, that would be a no-brainer if they decided to go that route. And as far as Johnny Storm and the Thing, well, the Thing, it's CGI, so that is kind of, is what it is. But Johnny Storm, Zac Efron just said he would, jump at the chance to be in the MCU. I would not mind seeing Zac Efron as the Human Torch.
He fits the criteria. He looks like a playboy. He's athletic. He looks cocky. He can do it. I think he can do it.
I agree.
I think he can do it, and I think it'd be a cool take on it. Because let's be really honest here. In 2017, was it, or 16, when the other Fantastic Four movie came out, that was supposed to be a reboot?
Yeah.
I hope none of those actors come back as variants or as anything else for Fantastic Four. Because that would suck.
Well, I don't think Michael B. Jordan would, so we don't got to
Well,
worry about
dead because he's he's Golden Jaguar. So Killmonger.
Yes,
So
so we don't got to worry about that one.
yeah, so he's gone. But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. They did just make a very big connection between, ironically enough, between Black Panther and Moon Knight,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Panther God. Fast, I believe. He is Khonshu's brother. So that is a very big cool thing that happened. Well, in the comics it's known as well, but it's really cool that they brought that into the series. They made it like canon, and now we get to see a real magical element to like gods and stuff like that linked into the MCU.
Which I like, because we already got, obviously, with Thor and we're gonna get Zeus and hopefully Hercules, so we get that aspect. But now we're going to the other side. We're going to more earth grounded, like you said, Khonshu, Horus, Amet. So we're getting into all that stuff, which I think that lore is great, and it lends to a lot that you can do with it. And which, up until this point, Moon Knight really has ran with it and ran with that Egyptian lore. So I think it's great. And I saw that the finale does have an after credit scene.
Yeah. Also, did you see that? It's a season finale instead of a series finale.
That makes sense.
So that means there could be a season 2 now, which
Which,
lends itself to
Midnight Suns.
What we've always talked about since day one on the podcast.
Literally.
Dude, I need to see that. I think we all need to see that. Midnight Suns. Oh, dude. So, there's a big conversation, and it was funny because Bad and Son, which is, for those that don't know who Bad and Son is a community channel that's been around for a bit. I'd say a little bit over a decade, where they did fan-made character fights, live-action character fights. So you got to see Scorpion versus the White Ranger. You got to see Thor versus Predator, I think it was.
Yeah, the Thor versus Superman.
Thor versus Superman. You got to see Batman versus Darth Vader. You got to see Batman versus a lot of people because the creator of Bat and Son is a huge Batman fan. So they did a funny thing today where they posted that Blade, the reason they call him Daywalker, this is not going to Blade. The reason they call him Daywalker is because Morbius bit him, and that gave him a gene to go ahead and become a Daywalker because Morbius is a Daywalker, essentially. Or whatever the case may be. They were trolling. They were trolling hard. But the reaction they got was exactly what I think they wanted, which was the real Blade fans, the real Morbius fans, everybody that's the Midnight Suns fans, which is inadvertently creating hype for the Midnight Suns as well.
Mm-hmm.
To step in and give a real history lesson, which is the only reason Blade is a Daywalker is because his mother was bitten when she was pregnant by Deacon Frost, which was a doctor, and created Blade. He has all the strengths and powers of a vampire, but none of the weaknesses. Then you have Morbius, which is also part of the Midnight Suns, because he teams up with Blade to take out vampires and the unholy. But not only did they team up with Blade and Morbius, the storyline was Blade, Morbius, and Punisher. So, I don't know, man. That would be a way, way cool way to bring back John Barenthal and go, hey, Moon Knight, you already fight mystical demon stuff. Come join the fold.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't get Daredevil, that's fine. I don't care. I mean, as long as we get Daredevil the show and a continuation of the last one, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if Daredevil doesn't join the Midnight Suns, I'm fine with that. Dude, the original Midnight Suns, and then you throw Ghost Rider in the mix.
I was about to say, that's who I want to see. That's one of the fan favorites for me. I love Ghost Rider, all aspects of Ghost Rider, all three of them. So if we could get either Robbie Reyes, Johnny Blaze, Danny Ketch, any one of them, I'm cool with.
Yep. Well, there's more than three. But yes, the three main story arc guys, yeah. But yeah, I mean, if I could see all of them in the same screen, working dynamically together, and then you keep, which would make sense too if you really put in perspective, like Daredevil had the Defenders, Punisher has Midnight Suns. That's why he wasn't part of the Defenders. That would be cool too, where it's like parallel continuities, but you don't really know because they weren't at the same licensing firm, I guess, at the same time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, I really want to see the Midnight Suns. That's all I'm saying. That's what I've been saying every single podcast. It's time we get the Midnight Suns. Give me that announcement.
It really is. I agree.
So, but I guess that really wraps up everything. I mean, we're going to do a recap show for Moon Knight next week, right?
Yeah, next episode, yeah.
The next episode, we'll do a really, really, really short recap episode of Moon Knight. I'm going to see Doctor Strange, I think 2 weeks after release. So
okay.
It's just going to be me and my wife, I believe. But I'm not sure yet. Let's see what happens. But, You're going to see Doctor Strange before I am, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm seeing it the Saturday after.
Yeah.
Comes out.
So let's see, man. Let's see. I'm excited because
Dude, I think I'm. No, it's hard to say. No, I'm not more excited for this than I was the Batman, but this is definitely second.
yeah, I think so. I'm a huge Batman fan, but I'm also a huge Doctor Strange fan. So I can say I was equally excited for both. So I think it's just a good year for movies for me and shows in general. Because
I
I'm
agree.
a big fan of Moon Knight, and we got Moon Knight this year. So you know,
Mm-hmm.
let's just see how it goes. I'm sure you're going to talk to me about Doctor Strange on Saturday. So
Oh, of course, because I gotta share with somebody.
yeah, I agree. I agree. We gotta see it. We gotta see what's up. We gotta we gotta talk about it next time. So
Yeah.
well, all right. From everybody here at Pop Link, we'll catch you on the flip, and then you and I will talk about some stuff, obviously, like we do every day. So
Like all the time.
all right, guys. Thank you for joining. And what's up? How you doing? You tuned in at the end, but hi again. But yeah, so you can catch this episode again in a few days on YouTube at PopLink. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Look us up under channels, and you'll see the little logo up top, and that's us. So see you guys on the flip. Have a good night.
Have a good night, guys. Later.